Perfect. Welcome to another SOS Anna meeting. Today we are going to speak about a very hot subject, which is sabotaging yourself. This meeting I will start from a story. It is a real life story, and whenever you resonate with this story or feel like you can find a glimpses of this story in your own CV, in your own life, just send me a plus. I was giving a training to a wonderful lady several days ago, and the task was quite simple because she just was meant to walk with the horse past some obstacle. The horse, of course, stopped at one point, and she stopped with the horse, and I was giving her some suggestions. But initial faith and initial trust that they will pass this obstacle comfortably very soon evaporated from her, and I could start to feel and see how the doubts started to rise in her head. She was not doing anything, she was not saying anything, but it was so palpable, it was so obvious that she started to check out from the situation. She was still there, she was doing what I was telling her, she was observing her horse, she was giving him treats, but she was not there. And the longer it lasted, the more time it was taking, the less she was there. The more she was checked out, and the more she was just becoming the passive observer of the situation. The more she was just doing what I was saying with least possible engagement. The more she was just following the instructions correctly. So no one could tell her, well, you are not doing what you are doing. But the more she was the longer the situation lasted, and the more the horse was standing still and didn't want to pass by the obstacle, the more she was just like observer in the cinema, watching the situation and waiting for someone to come and fix it for her or come and save the day and the situation. At one point, I asked her, because I heard as I told her to give her horse a treat, as the horse was leaning a little bit forward. The more I heard a little whisper that she said to herself, "It's never going to work." And in this moment, I a little bit stopped observing with interest what she is doing. And I told her, "Stop sabotaging yourself. This is your training." And she said, "Yes, this is my training, but it is not going to work." Enough said. After following few more instructions from me and a few more comments like, "It's never going to work, it's not changing anything, my horse is not going to do that," the horse licked, chewed, lowered the head, and did what was supposed to do perfectly. In that very moment, her eyes were this big, her face was totally shocked, and as she was passing by me and the obstacle, she turned and she told me with a huge smile on her face, "I don't know how this happened." And in this moment, we stopped the training, and I had with her a very important discussion that I want to have also with you now about life, being successful, and allowing yourself to be successful, first of all. And this training maybe lasted for 10 minutes in total, but I hope that it will be the most important and the most profoundly life-changing training in her whole life. It's not about making the horse to go somewhere. These situations are not about getting your horse from A to Z, from place A to B, or from place in front of the horse trailer, inside the horse trailer. This is not about starting your youngster alone. This is not about making things happen. This is about realizing that this is your life and stop playing games with yourself. Many times I see that, and this is something that I am observing for some time, and I even started measuring these parameters as I am with people. You know, I have this gift that I can sense things very precisely and I can measure them while I am with people. And I started to look how often and when people are checking out from their own life. And it's happening in two situations: when they are afraid about the outcome, when the outcome is not certain. So it's possible that you may not be successful. And another situation is when you are afraid that you may be successful. So it's like in both situations, the parameter is being successful, and the parameter is something that is anticipation of either failure or success. These are moments when people are checking out from the situation, when suddenly in the situation there is less and less of them. They are checking out. They are there with their body. They may be even following instructions of the trainer or doing what they would do in their head anyway, like taking some actions, but they are not longer there. And I am asking, who is then there if you checked out? Who is responsible for this training? Who is there to carry out the task if you checked out? It's still you. It's still your life. Even if you checked out, even if you decided that I don't want to be connotated with this situation. No. I am not having these problems in my dream book. No. My horse always passes by some obstacles. It's still you. You cannot check out. You cannot go on the back seat and say, oh, it's the driver's fault. Look, I obviously would have chosen a different direction, but you know, I was not by the driver's seat. But you are. It's still your life. Even if the training ends and you will go home and you will tell your friends about your unsuccessful training, even if you will, after the success doesn't come, you will look around to look for someone to blame, because of course it is not you who is to be blamed. It is still your life. Even if you will be talking to your friend about your spooky, stupid, stubborn horse and your untalented trainer who obviously cannot teach you correctly because you deserve, like, you know, Olympic level trainer to be successful, it's still your life. It's still you. You will be still speaking about you. So the question is why you are checking out. No matter if the situation ends positively, neutrally, or negatively, no matter if the outcome is positive, is successful, or it's failure, it's your life. So my advice is that it's better to be there and take part in it fully, because only then you will have some insightful thoughts for the next day, and only then you can apply the change on the next day. Interestingly enough, it's just sufficient to tell someone, feel with yourself this situation in 60%, in order to the situation to start to shift and a person to start to engage. You may think that you are engaged, but when I am measuring these parameters of how much of him or her is here now, I see that if it's like you are there for 45%, 40%, 30%, and the rest is left unattended, it's very likely that nothing good will happen. You will be just observing. You will be just looking like that and not knowing what to do, or you will be just throwing your shoulders up in the air and saying, oh, of course, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. This is not going to happen. Yes, and what are you doing for it to happen? Yes, I am doing everything. Look, my trainer is telling me to give treats. Of course I give treats, but I know that it will not help. So why are you doing it? Why are you losing your life? Why are you wasting your time? If you know that something is not going to work, why you are doing it? This is the hardest part of being the trainer, I think. To support people if they are not there. The trainer can offer you all his support and all his energy and all his advices. But a responsible trainer will only help you as long as you are there. Some other time ago, I had a trimmer at my place, and she was trimming my horses, and I was just observing the situation. And at one point, one of my horses, the one who is usually very nice and never pulls out the legs, started to pull out the legs a lot. And I measured these parameters and I saw that she is there for 38–40%. She starts to check out. She starts to think about something else. She's not longer there. The horse was acting out. I was standing there and just observing. The trimmer was trying to work. And at one point, she dropped the horse's leg. She straightened her body. She looked at me and she said, "Why you are not helping me?" And I told her, I was just observing. I wanted to see what you would do. And this is, I think, the essence, to understand that it's you who is responsible for the situation. You must not check out. You cannot leave situation to others. A trimmer cannot leave the trimming to the owner. An owner cannot leave her horse while she's with her horse. In the same way, a trainer cannot leave the situation, but the trainer can provide the space for a student to experience something, to realize what they are doing to themselves, and to later talk them through that and provide another opportunity for them to this time behave differently. We are so often checking out from our lives. We are not there. But horses always give us a chance. They always provoke situations to show us you are not there. This is just a game. You are not here. Clearly, look, you are just observing. The question is what you do, how you respond in such a situations. Are you still checked out? Are you still just looking at the situation from the back seat, saying, in any case, I was not here. In any case, it was just my avatar. I left my avatar and I went home. It was not me. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. Of course, if I was there, it would be totally different. But the thing is, you were there. You cannot check out from the situation. If you get upset with you, we can in such situations, because of course my student started to cry, and she said, I am so upset with me. I don't know why I am doing this to myself. And then I thought, who is doing it to you? If you are upset, if you can separate, and this is like this instantly, this beautiful quote from Eckhart Tolle ran through my mind while he starts his book, and he says that his aha moment was when he realized that he's fed up with himself, and he asked himself, who is fed up with me if I am saying this? And I instantly thought about that, like, how can you be upset with yourself? It's you. If you can separate yourself enough from the situation to tell to yourself, I am so upset with me, I don't know why I am doing it to myself, it means that someone else within you is doing it to you, and it upsets you. Who is doing it? Anyone can do that. Because if you check out from your body, from your own life, you leave the space for any other tendency to fill it up and to take it in possession. And we don't live in the emptiness. We don't live in the reality that is empty. There are many energies and many tendencies left by people who were passing by through this given space, and there are a lot of energies out there. And if you are not consciously filling yourself up with you and who you want to be and what you want to do, you leave this space for anyone else, for anything else to take it. And this is the biggest sabotage you can do to yourself. Because if you live like that, it is as if you were going out from your beautiful house and you would decide to live on the streets, having beautiful house and having a beautiful bedroom in this house with super comfortable mattress and beautiful bed and, you know, the most cozy, beautiful surrounding one can imagine. You left it, but you left it. You left it because you checked out, you went literally on the streets, and you left this beautiful space for literally anyone else to take it and to fill it up with whatever they want to fill it up with. So when she said, I am so upset with myself, I don't know why I am doing it to myself, I thought, it's not you who is doing it. You checked out, but then you left space in you to be taken with whatever energy, filled with whatever energy, whatever intention, whatever tendency that was randomly floating out there. And my practical sometimes, and we will be practicing it a lot, working on tendencies in my boundary, in a boundary, setting boundaries class, because it's enough in that very moment to tell yourself, I am present here in 60 or 65%. I take this situation back in possession. I am moving back into my beautiful house. I am moving back in. Whoever started squatting in my beautiful house, please go out, leave. Here are the doors. I am coming in. I take this situation in possession, and I do everything possible to make it successful. Because you know what? At the end of the day, it's better to say, I was there, I give my best. I did 100% what I could do, and I was not successful, than to say, I was not there. I started to see that problems can happen, and I ran back. I sat in the back seat. I opened my bag with popcorn, and of course, my avatar was not successful. Because at the end of the day, remember, this is not a computer game. This is your life. And you have to be there in order to live it. If you are not there, anyone, actually anyone and anything can start to live your life for you. And then, of course, if you leave the driver's seat vacant, you no longer decide where you are driving. You can no longer make conscious decisions about where are you going. And you no longer also can be upset that the direction you have taken is not the one that you desired, because you were not by the driver's seat. Carrie said, leaving our beautiful house metaphor literally made me cry. I struggle with this every day, you see? These are somehow, we are tapping on difficult discussions. And also these were the words of my student. She said, but this is so difficult. And then Pavel, who was there, also said, but this is why people buy horses. We hear every day, I bought my horses because I want to grow. I bought my horse, I got horses because I love spirituality, or I love personal development, or I wanted to be a better person. Well, here comes the chance. Here is your beautiful situation. Here is your beautiful opportunity. But the question is, are you there to live it, or are you checked out? Are you in the house? Are you taking advantage of everything that is possible? Are you living in this beautiful house with amazing, comfortable bed? Or have you chosen to check out, to go out and live on the streets and allow random energies and random tendencies to take over your life? Because when I asked my student, why you were making these comments? Do you think that it was helpful to you? She said, I don't know. So the question is, who did that? If you don't know why you did that, if you were checked out, she was there like for 20, maybe 30% stops at this very moment when she started to make the comments. She was not there, she checked out. You can always decide that you are not there, We all tend to sleepwalk through our lives. We all tend to live randomly, don't fill ourselves with intentions. I am here, I am doing this. When I was speaking about it later with her, she asked me, how often are you doing this? How often, you decide that you are there? And I told her, like, every second, every other second, I am telling myself, I am here. I am 100. I take this situation in possession 100%. This is my life. I am coming in. I call myself back. I call myself. Wherever I left myself recently, I call myself back. And we had beautiful question under the posting before we have met today. And the question, I think, was from Vicky. And Vicky asked, how to not live my life in such a way that I leave everything until the last moment, and then I have to do something. It's not enough time, and I have to do it under a lot of stress. Yes, because you live randomly. You are not there. you cannot prepare, you cannot start early enough because you are not there. Or how often are you asking yourself, how much of me is now within me in this task, in this very moment? It's not, you don't have to know precisely. It's not now the course about, you know, your special, developing special skills. It's just enough to decide, I call myself back home. I call myself back home. Like you have, I don't know, many chickens, they run in the garden, they have fabulous life, but one is there, one is there, one is somewhere other place. And then when the day ends, you call them back. You call your chickens using your special chicken spell, command, call, voice, cue, and they come back home. The same with dogs. They can spend beautiful day outdoors in the garden playing. Maybe you lose them from sight, but then when you want them back because something important is happening, either you are closing the doors or you are going somewhere, you want them back home, you call them. The thing is that in our life, we have to make it a habit to call ourselves back home every other minute, especially before any task or as you start to prepare for any task. Because without that, who is by the driver's wheel? Who is going to complete the task? You are going to close the chicken house empty if you don't call your chickens. You are going to start the task too late because you are not preparing it. You know, other energies, other tendencies, if you move out from your house and you leave the doors open, whoever passes by and says, oh, wow, beautiful house, I am checking this out, I am moving in. You don't know who they are. You don't want random people in your house. And your body, your existence here is like your most precious temple. You don't want to leave it empty, especially as you do some important things with your horse. Ines is asking, when you check out, your horse feels it and takes the chance to call you back in a hard way. Like if he's upset that you checked out, how to apologize and come back home. Normally, there is no special abracadabra. Just say, I'm sorry, I'm back. Let's go, let's carry on. The world is not constructed in such a way to make you a martyr. No one expects you to, you know, be extremely apologetic, do special rituals to make it even. Just come back home and carry on. You don't even have to say that you are sorry. Just come back home and start being there. Horses are doing it for us all the time because they are not doing something like that. When the horse checks out, it's usually after long, very suppressive training, and it's the moment when they decide that they would rather die than live such a life anymore longer. But you know, we are so spoiled. People are so, because of you know, the way we take everything personally, every possibility of failure, it's like it's signed under my name, the possibility that it will be engraved, you know, on my grave tomb. It's so paralyzing that we would rather check out than take a failure on our name. And horses don't understand it. I don't understand it. When I am there 100% engaged, I am teaching someone. I cannot imagine, and I am not cheap, you know, I take a lot for the trainings. Because I want that people make it a conscious decision that I am there with Anna, and for 45 or 60 minutes, I am there for 200%, but still people can check out. And I cannot imagine this. I cannot understand it. Why having such a beautiful mansion, this beautiful, amazing horse, sun is shining, Spain, October, 20 plus degrees, so amazing, a minor hiccup, the horse doesn't want to pass by something. And you take actions, 3 times you try, you see that it is not working, and you check out. You are there, you are doing something, but looking around and looking for compassion or whatever, or someone to take it out from your hands and do it for you, or shake your hand and say also, yeah, I see this is absolutely not working, so let's lay a blanket and let's sit here because we are not going to go forward today at all. You know, this is people think that they are afraid of being successful. There are many theories why people handicap themselves. There are many theories why people are generally not wanting to participate in the situation that can be possibly difficult. A lot it is about, you know, having some imaginary image of yourself and feeling that confronting it with the reality can be difficult. But from my practice, from my most down to earth practice that is freed from any theories, that I cross-checked many times, and I can tell you that it's because people are not there. It's because people are checking out, and checking out, it becomes after some time so habituative, so unnoticed for them that they don't even know that they are doing it. Many people live their entire life being there for 40%, 55%, maybe in the moments of hugest possible stress for 90%. But then they stress goes down, they check out back again, they are there for 30%, and they wonder why they are not successful. And they look for other people that will carry them through the tasks and lives. And many people expected these to be their trainers. But a good trainer will not carry you through the task. The good trainer will give you the shoes, the map, will tell you that he's going to be there by your side, but you have to take the steps yourself. You have to make the journey yourself, because carrying people on your shoulders is a very big karmic responsibility, and it can sometimes be helpful for the life of the trainer, but many times it should not be that. So the best trainers, and I try to be such a trainer, will give you a map, will give you good tools, good shoes, good compass, and will tell you, I am right next to you. In the moment of doubt, I will be cheering up for you. I will be showing you direction, but you need to come back home and start making steps for yourself. And I think that this meeting is about that, you know, to remind you that in every minute of your training, you have to be asking yourself, how much of me is now here? I call myself back. I call wherever I left my attention, my energy, my spirit, my thoughts, however you want to call it, under whatever name you are seeing it in your head right now, call it back home, because an empty house is an invitation for squatters. And when we have these squatters and in your beautiful house, and you are your true self said, I am checking out, I am going out. It's like your true self, your true you, your higher self goes out to live on the streets. And then in the moment when something is not gluing, is not coming through, your true self looks from afar and says, I don't like it at all. Yeah, I am very upset. I don't like it at all. And then it is why people say, I am so upset with myself. Why I am doing this? I don't understand it. I am so crossed with me. I heard some other time. Or one lady said, why I am doing it to myself always. No, you are not doing it to yourself. The thing that you did to yourself was to check out. And now some other tendency, some other energy, and there is very little possible chance, like literally none, that living an empty house you will get an even better habitant than you were, because good habitants, the good people, people who are super aware, whose energy you would love to have and with whose energy you would have become successful, they don't leave their energies to wander around. They are all filled, they are so thick with themselves that you can cut them with a knife, you know, the air around them, you can cut with a knife like a cake. It's so dense, it's so filled with them. And some other people, they are so empty because they left themselves 10 years ago. Well, while they divorced their husband, they are still there. And they are so empty that when you look at them, when you feel them, it's like the wind blows through them, literally. It's so empty. Vicky is asking, how do you get the other energy out of your body when you have checked out? It's enough to call yourself back. There is no bigger magic than calling yourself back. You don't have to know how to get the other energy out of your body. Just fill it up with you. Because when you come back home, it knows, you know what to do, and who is not supposed to be there immediately leaves. Because it is your house, it is your space, it is your throne, and you don't have to fight, you know. When you come back home and you see the squatters, you are not thinking, oh my God, how to ask them to go out. You come back home and you are saying, what are you doing here? Go out, this is my house. And with such energy, your true you always comes back. So you don't have to know anything spiritual. You don't have to even believe in spirituality. You don't have to understand what is happening there. It's just enough to tell yourself before any task, before the training starts, and especially when the training starts to get difficult. You know, when you are on the edge of, okay, I am checking out, this is not going to be successful training. Call yourself back, no, and close eyes for a moment and tell yourself, I call myself back on the job. Like, you know, like there is an empty cashier desk in the mall, and the information is saying, Margaret is asked to cashier desk number 3. Call yourself back. Vicky is needed by her horse now. Vicky, we await you. And call yourself back. You will see within several seconds, you will be filled with bigger energy, and you will be filled with this tingling desire to take actions. Exactly. Why? Because only the true you can take actions. No one else. the energies that the tendencies, the energies that take you over when you are not home, they will not fix your wallpaper ripping from the walls. They will just pick their nose and they observe, look, the ceiling leaks, yeah, but this is not my house. No, this is like living in a rented apartment. I will wait for the owner to fix it. I will not do anything. I will just observe. I will just look. Well, it's the carpet is ripped. Well, who cares? Only the true you, and the true you is coming. Only it wants to take actions. So the sign that you are back home is this tingling experience, like almost you, it's like before wanting to dance. It's like this tingling experience in the body. You want to take actions, and you start to take these actions, because only the true you can take actions when things go astray. And only the true you can engage in the situation. If you are just standing, and if you feel that the more you stand, the less you want to do, it means that you are not there. You are feeling someone and something else. You are not there. Call yourself back home. Margaret, Petra, Gillian is needed to cashier desk number 3. Horse is awaiting. by the cash desk. Call yourself back home, and you will be amazed to see how quickly things change. And when you feel after a few minutes that again you become like observing and thinking and passive, call yourself back again. Tanya, Alicia, Cindy is needed home. Come back home. We need you. Come back home. I call myself back. I am needed here. I feel the situation back with me. I take it in possession. Later, and if you have bigger skills, you can ask your intuition, how much of me is now here? And if you are really, because again, who can give you answer? Only the true you can give you answer. So if you are not there, skip the asking, because someone else will tell you, eco. This is how you know. People try to communicate with the animals, and they end up with total, random information made up and out of the blue, because only the true you can start communication. So the more you are there, the more you can ask, how much of me is there? Because if you are not there, you cannot count yourself in, because you are not there. The more you are there in, the more you can see, I am for 75%, I am for 80%, good. Or I am for 100, nothing can stop me. And we all hear from time to time about this energy to be successful. People go for seminars, people listen to coaches. But if you are not there, the coach can give you only crouches, he can only push you, but you will fall after 3 steps again, because only the true you is the athlete ready for the marathon, ready and skilled and equipped for the run. So the third day we met again with my student, and something changed in her, and we were passing by the same object, and she behaved totally differently. She was taking actions, not to look around and say, you see, they are not working. I am doing everything that you tell me, and look, this is not successful. Because remember, trainer can just help. You are there, you are responsible for taking the steps, and at the end of the day, you are responsible for the success. The trainer can only help. The trainer is not there to make you successful. The trainer is just to help you. So when people need the trainers the most, many times I am asked, and many times I see that people stop cooperating with the trainer when they start to be successful. This is a huge mistake. You need the trainer when you least need it. This is when you need the trainer, because then the true athlete, the true you is there, is home, and then you can rock and roll. Many people take the trainer when they are not there, and their trainers cannot realize that this person is not home, that this is only zombie avatar, you know, biorobot living there, and they try to support the biorobot, the zombie, the avatar of someone while they are not there. And of course, it takes enormous time. If they are not successful, it is not happening. And why it is not happening? Because the one that can make the change, the only one that can really change the situation, the true you of you, is not home. And without you home, someone can even move in for a moment, the trainer can enter for a little while, can do something, but then they move out and the house is empty and open for random tendencies, random energies, totally random thoughts, and totally finishing with totally random actions that support all other desires, tendencies, and goals, but yours. Okay, we have questions. Janine says, I glimpse the truth in this. Wonderful. Sandra says, can you only ask yourself to come back, or can you also ask your horse to come back? Sandra, horses are always there. If you think that your horse is not there, honestly, my darling, go to the kitchen, take something blunt and hit yourself in the head. This is my answer to this question. Horses are always there. People, you see, we are so ready to pay someone to speak with our horse and tell us this or that, and we invest so little in ourselves. Like, can someone speak with me and tell me where am I? Can someone check where have I checked out and where am I now, because I am clearly not here? You can call back home only yourself. Before we step out and start to call back homes our horses, which we cannot do because only your true self, only like this glimpse of your true self that stayed in you, because without that you would be like totally biorobot, like zombie, like literally zombie, not proverbial zombie, but really zombie. It can call you back home. This is this divine element that we can call ourselves any moment, any time. We can fill ourselves with this divine element, this divine particle with ourselves. But we are so quick to, you know, put others in check, that we forget that we are here to take care of ourselves and not of anyone else. We are here to make sure that we are here and not that others are here, especially not your horses. You have to be here 100% of the time for 100% of your capacity. And I tell you even another secret. With time, the more you are there, the more of you can be there. And the more you discover that the amount of you that was filling your whole house like densely 5 years ago, now would fill only 20%, maybe 10% of your house of today. So not only we grow, we also grow our capacity of calling ourselves back home. And the more you do that, the more you discover that it is like the amount of you there that you can recall here, feel your house, feel your beautiful mansion, feel your beautiful temple with you is limitless. And our goal, our desire, our responsibility in this life is to create such a big capacity, readiness to receive it and to stay mindful as we can, and to stay mindful enough to continue to call and call and call ourselves back home. Because only from this place we can take actions. Only from this place we can be successful. Only from this place we can act and stop passively observing our situations, looking to the sides, and whenever we see a friend, we call him and we say, hey, do you see how bad it goes? Do you see how spooky is my horse? Do you see how hot is my horse? Yeah, I am not successful today. Let's speak about that. You see, this is the absolute craziness. This is the craziness that I see every day, and I cannot finish being amazed by that. How much time people waste speaking with their friends who are also not there about how they were not successful with their horses, or how their horses cannot do something, or how their horses are not performing as they want. And no one is asking, hey, but you were there. What have you done to assure that this situation was successful? You know what happens when there is like plain, not accident, because hardly ever anyone survives that, but any like technical issue, they investigate the pilot forth and back, even for 3 days, and all the crew. And they are checking everything, every procedure. The same with surgeons, the same with anyone important. What you did step by step, what were the procedures, and why do you decide it like that, and what happened. And they need to answer, they need to prove that they were there for 100% of the time, in 100% of the way, and that every little decision was intentful and taken consciously. And let me ask you, who is more important for your life, a pilot or you, for your everyday life? Why we have such rules only for surgeons and pilots and people like that? Well, you might say, yeah, because they have very important tasks. They take care of people's life. Yes, and who takes care of your life? Every second of your life, every day of your life, of your life, without holidays, without fiestas, without weekends off. Who takes care of your life? You. So who for you, whose job is more important? Neurosurgeons or pilots, or yours? Of course, everyone every now and then flies a plane, and then we hope that our pilot is there, because if he's not there, who is flying this jet? Yes, or whenever you go to the surgery, probably you would be very upset if you heard, yeah, the surgeon had a very tough day, he checked out, he came there, he opened you up, he said, it looks difficult, I better check out, because I don't want to be, connected with this mess. If it doesn't solve properly, I better check out, I don't want to take it under my name. You would be very upset to hear that your neurosurgeon or heart surgeon behaved like that. So tell me why you do the same to yourself every day. We use pilots, we take advantage of medical services, lawyers services every now and then, and I am sure that you have been very upset if you met with your accountant or lawyer and they were very upset minded, not present, not super smart, and you thought, oh come on, how they can represent me, they are so flocky, they are so not present, they are so silly, how they can represent me. And yet we are not asking ourselves often enough, who is representing me today, now? How much of me is here at the job, at home, ready to take actions? Katya is asking, I feel this is the webinar of all webinars I've ever need to hear. Lovely. I haven't been at home for a while now. Calling all the chickens back now. Perfect. Call your chickens, call yourself back home, wherever I left me. Maybe a piece of you is still with your boyfriend at the last split that happened 3 years ago. Maybe you're still like recalling it every now and then. Maybe a little bit of your attention stayed there. Maybe you are still a little child with the memories back 20 years back. Maybe you are still at this fight in the supermarket that someone sneaked in you before you in a queue to weigh to scale the tomatoes or something like that. Maybe you are still there. Call yourself back home. Hey, come back. I need you. You and you and you and you and you. There are many of yous, because our through you can like split, and the more it splits, the less it's like intensified, the more it's scattered, the weaker you are, the less you can take decisions, the more you are empty. And then when you are empty, anyone passing by can put their tendency, their intention, this is the basis of manipulation and using some socio techniques on people. But we are not speaking about that right now. We are going even deeper. We are talking about situation when you are an empty house, your energy, your true you have chosen to live on the streets because you didn't want to deal with some situation and you checked out. And the more traumatic, the more difficult life you have had, probably the bigger tendency you have to check out. Maybe your parents were humiliating you from time to time. Maybe you felt that you are never enough for one of your parents. Maybe your trainer used to humiliate you or call you names, or teacher at school, or maybe other children were making laugh at you. The more you have such unpleasant situations, and the little you have, and the less you had support from someone smart standing by your side, are able to feel if you are there or checked out, and the less you had such a support of someone telling you, hey, you are not there, come back, call yourself back home, the more it is probable that you developed a habit of checking out, of going astray, totally unconsciously. And if you are over 20, probably you are practicing it already for a bigger half of your life. And therefore you do it on absolutely automatic mode, autopilot. You are not aware that you are doing that. And then you just are observer of the unsuccess in your life. We have questions again. Carrie says, and when I come back home and mess up, what if I can't make my home better because I keep messing up when I'm present? The true you cannot mess up. The true you cannot do the mess. The true you is the divine element that has always luck, that always knows what to do, that only takes good decisions, and that takes decisions that lead you in the correct direction, even if your superficial mind interprets it as something that didn't go along the plan. See, because our mind is attached to expectations, and our divine element looks ahead, further ahead. So if you have a husband, or maybe your dear precious partner, and you can look back 10 years ago, how much you were upset that Robert dumped you, or that you dumped Robert and you were so in love, but now you understand, yeah, I couldn't be with that guy because I needed to be with Tom or Pavel or David. No, because they were meant for me, and we couldn't stay. Someone had to mess up because we couldn't be together, because it was not designed to be this way. Who can mess up, on the other hand? All the bad thoughts, all the malicious thoughts, all the malicious thoughts, or the evil thoughts, all the thoughts that make you weaker, doubtful, weak, like lacking energy, dull. These are thoughts of the random energies and random tendencies that are circulating around us. This is called astral plane, that is filled with many, many energies, but they are, one thing we know about them, they are not divine and they are not ours. They are not yours. The more you are filled with you, the more you make yourself dance like a sponge, very much filled with water, like almost like, you know, so fat, like so fat with water, so filled with water, the less space you leave for crappy thoughts, crappy actions, crappy decisions, and everything else that is not supportive, because all the malicious thoughts, all the bad thoughts, all the negative thinking is coming not from you. All the actions that you judge as messing up, this is also, the judgment doesn't come from your divine element, because the more you are filled with you, the more you are filled with divine particle, the more you are filled with light, the more you see the light around you, because the more you see the similarity of you around you, the more you see elements of you that I can call it he, and this I can call, and there I am also there, I am calling myself back home. And you can see that this sponge becomes bigger and it can absorb more and more and more, and it can densify more. So I am calling you to densify yourself, to make yourself super thick, super filled with you. I call myself home, here and now. I call myself home, and I am here. I take all the space in possession. No one will now do this for me. I am here. I do this for me. And because I called myself back home, I called my divine particle, my divine element, I entrust that the result will be the very best possible. And then Ivona says, I so agree. Best straight talk from Anna. Being present and always true with yourself. Long way to go, but I am accepting the challenge. Perfect. Perfect. And Kathleen says, I am happy to be truly back home after a long time absent, and my days now flow. Wow. And this is the way we can experience it. Call yourself back home. And then, Kari, you will see that everything will start to flow. The days will flow, decisions will make sense, even if superficially they don't make sense. You will see how everything works for your greater good. And just densify yourself. Don't live empty spaces for wind to literally blow. My mom used to say that don't allow wind to blow in between your ears. And I was always thinking that she asks me to be smart, but now I understand that she was calling me back to be present. Vicky says, when you call yourself home, and how you keep yourself full and not get empty again, just continue to call yourself back home every now and then. I call myself back home whenever you remember about it. You wake up after a long, restful sleep. I call myself back home. Okay, you brush the teeth, you look through the window. I call myself back home. You go down, you make yourself a cup of coffee, morning coffee. I call myself back home. And this must be a habit, because if you are not there, if you are leaving this situation random, okay, so when I ask you when was the last time you called yourself back home, and you would probably tell me never, or maybe 10 years ago, or maybe 5 years ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, if we are very lucky, then we know that a lot of you got scattered around, and a lot of you got lost on the way as you were moving from places to places. And then random energies again, random tendencies, step in and start to give you thoughts that are not yours, give you emotions that don't belong to you, give you ideas that don't belong to you, and you are more passive and more passive and more passive and more passive, and you think thoughts that are not helpful, and you have emotions that are not helpful, and you do things that you don't understand. Yeah, you pay now 150 euro for training, and then you sabotage yourself entire way, and you know, nothing happens because you cannot enter the arena, and then the trainer asks you why you are weakening yourself so much, why you are sabotaging yourself like that, and you say, I don't know, you know. So who knows? If you are not there, random people will be by the driving wheel. Random people will live in your house, and remember, they are just tenants. They are not the owners. They will not give a shit whether the ceiling is leaking or the tap is broken. They will just observe. So the more you just observe, the more you are passive in your life, the more you know that you are not there, that you are not setting tendencies for yourself. Someone else is doing it for you. And remember, no one will care about you as much as you can care about yourself. So don't leave important tasks for other people. If you were to have surgery and your neurosurgeon will call a cleaning lady to do the surgery, probably you would be not happy, and vice versa. If someone else is setting tendencies for you, if you are picking up some random energies left in places, houses, training places, you can see how many people are upset when they are in the stables. You can enter the round pen after such a person, and you can still feel this energy. And if you are not calling yourself back home consciously relaxing yourself, you will soon also become absent. You will also become upset. Janine asks, can the opposite be true? What opposite, Janine? You have to specify, because I am afraid I don't understand this question. What you are referring to? Let me know. Can you be so self-centered you assume you are right? Well, my dear, if you are right, you are right. This you get when you are filled with yourself. When you are 100%, or it's enough to be 80% filled with yourself, you know what is right. Because you feel it. If I give you a cold cup of tea, you will feel it's cold, and I can talk you all the way through that it is warm. Actually, Janine, it is warm, but you can even nod your head, but you will know it's cold because you feel it. And the same comes here. It's not about being self-centered. You are mistaking filling yourself with thoughts. Don't fill yourself with thoughts. Call your true self back home. Feel more and know what to do. The true you will feel what to do and will guide your actions, will direct your actions forward. Let me know if I answered your question. When you are right, when you feel what should be done, you are back home, and therefore you feel what should be done, and nothing can stop you from doing that. Nothing can stop you from doing that. You know what is right. And even if everyone will say this is wrong, you will do that because it will be right. You will know and it will be right. And this is why we have this divine particle in ourselves. So we can follow the light, no matter if this is morally or in society approved. You will know what is going to be right. Sometimes it will mean to be more decisive. Sometimes it will mean to be more soft. It will be totally unplanned, totally random, but it will be the right thing to do in the right moment, in the right manner, and it will bring the right results. And Janine says, yes, in my heart agrees. Wonderful. It is like that. Don't mistake what I am saying now with filling yourself with thoughts. Yeah, I call myself more thoughts, because thoughts are weakening you. No one having great, you see, so many people have great thoughts. You can go to random group on Facebook, many fantastic advisors, but when people are placed in front of the horse, suddenly taking actions is so difficult, and therefore so few people are really very successful with horses and can really do something with them. Because having thoughts also, who is having these thoughts? Are you home? Are you producing these thoughts, or are you picking up again some random energies, random tendencies left by others, thoughts of other people and things like that? Because this can also happen. So first, before any action, before any thinking process, before literally anything that you do, call yourself back home. Tell yourself, close eyes for just nanosecond. Or even if you're driving the car or training a horse, you don't have to do that. Just tell yourself, like, I call myself back home, me, my true self, and see what happens. Lorraine says, I can absolutely relate to this. I am much more aware of how my mind drifts and the importance of being present. Also, I can see the tendency to want to disappear or leave the body when embarrassed, or if things aren't going well in training or other life situations. I will be focusing on calling myself back home. Fantastic, Lorraine, exactly. So we can say that, we can see that you are already like fantastic, superbly aware person. Because to notice that you want to go out, you want to check out, it is the wonderful moment of already noticing that you can be here or be gone from here. And if you can notice the difference, you start to be mindful, and you can choose to be more here, to not leave the driver's seat vacant, empty, to not let others, random tendencies of random people, random energies of random ethereal beings to decide upon your life, your training with your horse. Ivona says, so following Janine's thoughts, so can the right result be something else that we expected and still be right outcome? Of course. who makes expectations? The mind. You make expectations because you feel safe. You know, everyone has like idea about themselves and the reality that is you can think about yourself only within this box, and about reality only within this box. This box is made of your tensions. They allow you to say, okay, I am this and that, I can do this and that, I see something, this is not going to be successful, or I see something, yes, it's going to be successful. Whenever we are faced with a new situation, you refer this situation to your tensions, and you start to see in this situation your tensions. So you tend to like see yourself outside of yourself for a moment. It's like this mirroring experience, and the more you are filled with you, the more you can overstep this situation and have different results. Because, you know, my student without me would, the moment the horse stopped, she knew what is going to happen. You know, and we are not going to pass. Yes, my horse is just like that. She's doing that. I know, I can try. Look how much I am trying. It's not going to work. Look how much I am trying with treats. It's not going to work. Look how I am trying with relaxation. It's not going to work. Why? Because this is her tensions, her world. She accepts it because of her physical tensions that are reflected on her central nervous system. So therefore I say senses, so you see it outside of yourself. The more you are ready to accept and see and expect things only with which you can agree, so that are part of your net of tensions of the box. I have, oh, surprisingly, I have the box. So this is your box. So you created this box, and everything that you agree with that is fits inside of the tension of your net of your tensions, is you allow it to happen. But if you call yourself back in, your true self has the ability to transcend obstacles, any obstacles in life. So the outcome will be different, totally new. You cannot judge this outcome because it is divine. Divine is like fishing for fish. You put the fishing rod, or you put the net, and you allow the unknown, the unseen to work for you. This is beautiful analogy that I heard some time ago from a priest that I very much admire, who said that this is why Jesus Christ has chosen for his apostles fishermen, because they deal with the unknown. They deal with the 90% of reality that we cannot see. They put something into the depths of the water, and they still hope that the result will be successful. They trust. And this is, you know, this is hugely, this has like huge dimension and depth for me, because if we translate it to the physics, to the language of quantum physics, we know that we can perceive through the senses only 5% of the reality. We see so little, so very little, and there are still some surprising experiments. Now we are watching with Pavel this fantastic series from Stanford about quantum physics, the lectures for students, and this is amazing because they really don't understand what is happening, and they admit it. And this is so beautiful, because it shows us that to understand something, we cannot use only the quotation, we cannot use only the mind, because there are things, there are experiments that the mind cannot explain, that are so standing in contradiction to one another, that you cannot explain it. You have to agree that there is something such as consciousness, that is awareness, that works outside of the box that you created, and that has bigger access to the reality than your senses have. And the more the true you lives in you, the bigger access to this true reality you have, the more you become this divine fisherman, the more you become this, the more you work with unseen, with unknown, with the things that cannot be touched and measured, but are existing and are changing outcomes, physical outcomes of the reality. And this is true magic. This is the magic with the big M, that we all can touch, and that we can all learn, and that we can all experience in this life. And the beauty of this life is that it is about materialization. That you see, we live in the materialized life world, that everything is about materialization. But how we do it, from where we take these elements that are materializing, well, this is the only true you can materialize them. The only true you can put the fishing nets in the depths of unseen, unexplored depths of the lake and still take the fish out. I hope that I answered your question. Vicky says, yes, it seems that when I am uncomfortable with a situation, I usually become passive in my body or actually leave it. Lately, I've been calling myself back in the training with the horses, so now we'll work on it with people. Deepen my feeling more to stay home and not leave. Beautiful. Anna says, loves this input, makes sense. Vicky says, agree. And Carrie says, I feel like I'm one leg there out of the box, but my other leg is still stuck behind. How do I make sure I leave the box for good and stay there? Well, this is not something that you can make. You can just we were speaking the other day with Pavel, because there is a huge tendency now that everyone wants to have bigger energy, and people are like looking for some, some invasive ways to fill themselves up with the energy. But the answer is only one, Carrie. Just purify yourself. Call yourself back home, and it will happen. You don't have to use any. It's like with horses. People are trying to train them using very forceful methods or tricks or some, some traps. I will move like that, so then my horse will move like that, and then I will have what I want. These are all tricks. We don't need to do that. Just call yourself back home and do relaxation techniques. I hugely recommend body mark, and the box will start to disappear. To transcend something doesn't mean exactly to leave it. It means to stop being bounded by it. It can still be there. Don't want your box to disappear. Just don't be enclosed by it. Don't be limited by the box. Transcend it. Transcending is to not be bounded by something. It means to be lifted up, but not by living, but not being bounded by the laws or by the physics of this given situation, is to outgrow it, is to not be bounded by it. So what was happening actually back then when my student was standing and thinking that she's giving her horse treats randomly in totally random moments, I was just observing whenever the horse is relaxing, even though the horse was not doing anything. I was feeling when the horse relaxes, and when enough relaxation happened, the horse just decided that it's ready to pass the object. And this just happened. So I was not bounded by the tension and the physical situation of fear. I saw deeper. I could act on different level. I could act on different level of the reality, and the outcome was sweet, natural, very quick, just 5, maybe 10 minute stops. And if you want, if this is something that interests you, if this is something that you want to live, if this is something calling yourself back home is a theme for you and your horses, I cannot recommend you enough. I invite you, I call yourself back home to my boundaries course that we are going to, during this class for 1 month, we are going to practice being 100% present, creating every situation as an aware creator, and transcending problems, transcending difficult situations to create a different reality in which you are not bounded by the laws of the life that you live now. And it's going to be very practical, but also very magical, also very, very deep. And I am sure that you will all love it. So it looks like we are coming slowly to the end of our meeting. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you have any other questions. And yes, Ines is asking, when will it happen, the Boundaries new course? It starts on the 14th of November. So in 3 weeks from now. Petra says, absolutely loved it, fantastic. Alicia is asking, I feel like a lot of tension came out of me during this webinar. I feel great, very relaxed. I needed to hear it. I feel that I can sleep very peacefully today, despite the approaching major changes in my life. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Alicia. Just call yourself back home and everything will be good, I promise. Katia says, I love this session. Sibyl says, thank you, excellent, Anna. Someone from the tablet says, great info, thank you. Janine says, thank you, as always, I feel amazed at new information, wonderful. Sandra says, loved it, just start and to call myself back home, wonderful. Please practice it, and on the next meeting, next week, I will ask you how often you were home during this last week, okay? And we will speak about the outcomes, okay? Lorraine says, very interesting topic, loved it, thanks, Anna. Yolaine says, thank you, Anna, I will call myself back home. Do it every other minute, honestly. It was very powerful for me, thank you, says someone from the iPhone mantra. I think it's my Martusia. Carrie says, thank you. The messages are really clear. Jillian says, thank you, Anna. Thank you, Jillian. Julie says, thank you, relevant for me. Katia says, thank you, Anna. Kathleen says, thank you, really interesting and helpful. Ivona says, I am very grateful tonight. And Sonia says, thank you, Anna. Thank you, everyone. Be present, be home. Don't sleep today on the streets. Before you fall asleep today, call yourself back home, and you will see that you will have the most amazing, calm and restful night in weeks. Ines says, you have the ability of making ideas so clear and easy. Yes, because I am home. Thank you so much for meeting me today, and see you next week. Bye bye.